It's okay. It's a post St. Patrick's Day look.
I didn't even drink last night.
It's still a post St. Patrick's Day look. Doesn't matter if you drink or not. It's just we're post St. Patrick's
The
Day.
fact, yeah.
And it's just the look you have. All right, let's get started here.
Mine is.
And I'm doing the intro now because welcome to another episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly stop shop. I kind of scared you there, didn't I?
You did. I was like,
coming in hot. Yes, talking about movies, TV, music, and video games, not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
Hi, I'm Deer in Headlights, aka Matt. This is Mike. Thank you for joining us. Hey, it's March the 18th, as you mentioned in the pre-show, day after St. Patrick's Day. So hope all of you are eating something greasy this morning and sopping up all that alcohol.
Drinking chocolate milk.
Yeah, whatever, whatever your cure is, the Pedialyte, etc. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 375. That's a good number.
Yep, it's 375. This is our post-Oscar wrap-up show.
That too.
So we will get to that in the movie section. We'll talk about everyone who won there. Yeah. We'll also have the wrap-up of The Last of Us when we get to TV.
Yes.
And you played a video game.
Yeah, well, a demo. But we'll get there too.
But before we get to all of that, we got to get to the music section.
We have to.
And we start music with the Billboard. And we start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And we got to talk about last night.
So we were fearing that this would happen. We knew this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. And here it is. It's a dark day for the Billboard.
Well, technically last night was also a dark day for some of us out drinking.
Well, yeah, but
if you went out drinking at St. Patrick's Day, then you probably heard Last Night by Morgan Wallen.
Gross.
Your number one song.
Yeah.
At 2, Flowers by Miley Cyrus. At 3, Kill Bill by SZA. Coming in at 4, Die For You by The Weeknd and Ariana Grande. And rounding out your top 5, Boy's a Liar Part 2 by Pink Panthers and Ice Spice.
So basically, Morgan Wallen debuts at number 1. Die For You moves down to 4, and then the rest basically just moves
shuffles.
Down a spot. So yeah, nothing too special this week.
As for your Billboard, as for your albums, your Billboard 200.
Yep.
Number 1 is One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen, debuting at number 1. At 2, SOS by SZA. At 3, Mañana Será Bonito by Carol G. Coming in at 4, Red Moon in Venus by Kali Uchis. And rounding out your top 5, Midnights by Taylor Swift.
I wonder if Midnights is going to get a tour bump in the coming weeks.
I mean, her Taylor's versions could get a tour bump.
Right, yes. This isn't news, so I might as well say it now.
She dropped some stuff.
She dropped some additional singles to add to her growing collection of From the Vault songs. One lost track from the Lover era, a couple re-records of some previously not re-recorded songs, like If This Was a Movie, and Safe and Sound, originally performed by the Civil Wars. She now has her own version out.
Not that Safe and Sound?
No, not the one you're thinking.
Not
Capital
the
Cities.
Capital Cities, Atlas Genius, whatever it is.
Different. Anyways, that may impact the charts, but for now we have to deal with Morgan Wallen's ass. So, I mean, he practically engineered this album, just like the last one, to be number 1 on this chart. It has 36 fucking tracks.
Oh.
So it is going to be on here for a while because of just the sheer volume of numbers. Just, he did the math.
Yes.
Basically, to borrow your term.
But with 36 tracks, notice he only has 1 in the top 5, correct, unlike Taylor Swift, who had 1 through 10 when Midnight's premiered.
So he's not going to pull something out like that. However, it is important to note, though, all 36 of his tracks did land somewhere on the Hot 100. So they did really well. But, not.
But we'll see.
He ain't Taylor.
So he pulled a Drake then.
He pulled a Drake.
Okay. That's more in line with Morgan Wallen, I guess.
Yeah, somehow.
If you didn't like Morgan Wallen or any of those albums, we have new releases. Starting with Since I Have a Lover by Six Lack. I want to say it's black.
I think
there's
so,
a 6.
but it says 6 instead of a B.
Yeah. Yes. Would you go with an 8 then? Because that's what it would be.
Hey, don't ask me. Ask 6 lakh.
6 lakh. All right. We also have The Other One by Baby Metal. The Art of Forgetting by Caroline Rose. Memento Mori by Depeche Mode. Yes, that Depeche Mode. So much for Stardust by Fall Out Boy.
Yeah,
yes.
That Fall Out Boy.
Face. Sorry, we rephrase that. Face.
Yeah,
just all caps, yelling at your face by Jimin.
Yes, Jimin of BTS. This is his first solo record.
Oh, this is that face.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, this is that Jimin.
Yes. We also have 93696 by Liturgy.
Is that a zip code?
If it is, it's not on this planet. And rounding out your new releases, did you know that there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey?
So Lana, I didn't, but Christy did actually, because she's been in Long Beach longer than I have.
Yes.
Yes, this is specifically referring to there is actually a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard in Long Beach. Fun fact.
Not to be confused with Ocean Avenue.
No, it's very different. That's the place where,
Yes, that's the place where you get the yellow card.
Yeah. It could find you now. Things would be better. Anyways, no, Ocean Boulevard.
No, that's right there on the corner of Cherry Street.
Well, it's funny because there's actually a cross street between Cherry and Ocean in Long Beach too, but it's a different Cherry and Ocean.
Yes.
Yeah, fun fact. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to Lana. I don't know. I'm curious. I want to know if there's any more fun facts about Long Beach on this record.
Or it's just all Long Beach.
Now that I live there, yeah. Now that I live there, I'm curious. What, Lana, tell me more.
Tell me something that Incubus hasn't already told us.
And no, even though I live there, I've not seen Lana. Sorry. I'm sorry to break it to you. Or Snoop Dogg. The two people you think you would run into in Long Beach, I have not run into yet.
Well, that's because Snoop Dogg's hanging out with the LA Kings as they're making their LA. We'll get to playoffs later.
We'll get there. In the meantime, though.
In the meantime, we got to talk about music news.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, Taylor Swift dropped new singles in anticipation for her Eras tour, which kicked off last night.
Yes, it was like Taylor Swift Christmas yesterday. We had some gifts under the tree when we woke up. And then everybody looked forward to, well, everybody who got tickets to see her first stop in Glendale, Arizona.
Yep, alongside the opening performances of Gale.
Yes.
And the only performance of the tour by Paramore.
Correct.
So Taylor kicked off her Eras tour in Taylor, Arizona.
Sorry, yes. What was it? Swift City, I think
Swift
they called it? Yeah.
Yes.
Which I was like, when I tweeted, and I'll repeat the joke here because it didn't get enough love on Twitter, is Glendale, Taylor's version was right there. Come on. Anyway.
So Swift City, Arizona, formerly Glendale for one day.
For a week, I think.
A week. With a staggering 44 songs, nearly 3-hour performance, which was preceded, as mentioned, by 20 minutes by Gale and 45 minutes by Paramore.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, Taylor. But let your opener, if your openers are going to be there, let them breathe a little bit. Poor Gale. Maybe she just doesn't have that long of a set. I don't know. I don't want to speak for her. But I would assume she would want a little bit more time to play a giant arena probably for the first time in her career.
Well, I mean, as someone who's been to giant arenas to watch opening acts, not a whole lot of people are there for the opening acts.
I would imagine they're there for Taylor, though.
Well, they're at least there for Paramore.
Well, yeah, especially. And Paramore only got 45 minutes, which is still pretty short. They have a lot more songs that they could have done.
Oh, yeah.
However,
I would say just album that they just came out with, too.
Give them the other extra 15 and just let them go by an hour. Like, Taylor doesn't have to start at 8. In fact, she started at 8:05, to be fair.
Not 8:08 with heartbreaks.
No, I think that she particularly does not want to do that. She of all people, unless she goes straight into this is why we can't have nice things after. Anyways.
Oh, is that the song you were thinking about?
That was the first one I thought of when I was thinking about.
I was going to go with Innocence.
I thought about Innocent, and I was like, nah.
No Innocent?
She doesn't want to be nice to him anymore. I bet she doesn't do Innocent the entire tour.
All right.
Anyways, what she did do...
Yes, as expected, though, her set list spanned almost every era.
I have almost, but actually I need to remove almost there. It did actually hit every era.
So it spanned every era of her career, even her debut, which was represented by the acoustic performance of the first song on the first album, Tim McGraw.
It was the only song off debut she did. She did not play our song.
Well, to borrow a ridiculous sentence from the Variety story,
I had to include this.
Quote, long story short, those singing Swift performed tonight are on holy ground, and the rest will just have to tolerate it.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah, seems like people really enjoyed it. It seemed like a really solid set. She did a lot of the ones that people were hoping that she would do. A lot of people, there was a theory, a running internet theory, that she was going to skip Evermore. Did not happen. She played several songs off of Evermore.
Okay.
So the Evermore people like me were happy. And she played Enchanted, and honestly, that's all I wanted, was to make sure Enchanted was going to be in at least one of the shows. So I'm happy. I just want to see footage of it someday, maybe, somehow. I double checked, and there's still no available tickets for SoFi. And I'm like, man,
you just gotta show up. Someone's gonna have a ticket.
August, so far away. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, if you want more Taylor talk, it just so happens that here at the Media Boat Podcast, we got that covered. We have hours of Taylor Swift discussion waiting for you on our podcast feed, thanks to our March Madness Taylor Swift Eras tournament that is ongoing.
Yes, our Taylor's tourney continues.
Yes.
We've gone through 3 of the 4 eras that we've kind of designated for Taylor Swift.
Or made up eras.
This upcoming Wednesday will be the 4th and final era that we will cover, the modern era.
So if you're a recent Taylor convert, this is where you might want to start. We're going to talk about Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights on this coming up podcast. But if you're a classic fan, we've already done those. Go back into our feed and you can listen to us talk about the songs on the debut album, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, Reputation, and Lover. So check that out.
Because you're living in the future. You can go listen to that right now.
The time to bring that out. But yeah.
When they go listen to it, they will hear it, and they will like, oh, that's what he's referencing.
But yeah, check out our podcast feed. Just search Media Boat Podcast in your podcast feeds. We'll plug it again at the end. But for now, let's go from Taylor Swift to another enemy of Ticketmaster.
The Cure.
Yeah.
So the living hell of concert ticket buying loomed into the foreground again this week.
Yes.
But this time, it was not millions of clamoring for a limited number of Taylor Swift tickets or Bruce Springsteen tickets, but rather attempts by long-running British alternative band The Cure to avoid gouging fans for its forthcoming Lost World North American tour. While the group had managed to avoid such controversial policies as platinum packages and variable pricing, frontman and founder Robert Smith was appalled to see hefty service fees added to the cost of verified fan tickets, which are intended to protect fans by keeping tickets out of the hands of scalpers for the tour. Quote, I am as sickened as you all are by today's Ticketmaster fees debacle. To be clear, the artist has no way to limit them. I've been asking how they are justified. If I can get anything coherent by way of an answer, I will let you know.
So he did this in a series of all capped tweets. It's important to note.
Yes.
Robert Smith, always been a real great guy, and he's just proving it again here. Just speaking for all these bands who are probably frustrated with how they've handled it. I saw a screenshot as an example of how basically what's happening here, where the tickets were $20 each. Reasonable, right? But then the fees added another, additional $40-something?
It was an additional $23.
Yeah.
So the whole ticket itself came up to be like 43 and change.
But you were basically paying 2 times the amount that of the face value of the ticket just on fees alone. So yeah, I don't blame him for getting angry, and I think it's very cool that he's being as transparent as he is. If you actually go onto his feed, there's even stuff beyond the story where he's trying to break down exactly what his experience with the band was negotiating with Ticketmaster about how this was going to go. And walking through this process, I think, has been enlightening for a lot of people, and being like, oh, this is how it works. This is how Ticketmaster does business. I think it'll be very interesting to have this like evidence, anecdotal, but still evidence when they go into doing more hearings at the Senate, talking about Ticketmaster's.
Put them under oath and say, Robert Smith tweeted all of this.
Yeah.
What do you have to say? Is this exactly what happened?
They're going to have to say, hey, yes, we talked to Robert Smith and this is how it went. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting wrinkle to the case. And so, yeah, it was kind of weird, clandestine, that we had this story hitting the same time as Taylor Swift's tour is actually starting. It's kind of a good confluence of Ticketmaster and everybody's brain again. So hopefully this adds some heat to that and we get some movement because I can't imagine. I can't imagine being an artist just genuinely wants to go on tour and wants people to see them. And such a classic, legendary band too. Like to have it happen to them is embarrassing on Ticketmaster's part. Like they got to make this better.
I mean, you'd think that, but it's a business, and they're gonna price gouge when they can.
It sucks, man. It just sucks.
Yeah,
you know? It just sucks.
It just does. Mm-hmm. All right, so tell me something that doesn't suck.
I listened to an album this week. So how familiar are you with 100 Gecs?
I did not know there were 100 Gecs.
There's so many. So 100 Gecs are a duo who basically makes, I guess you could call it like electronic, but like experimental electronic music. Okay. They're all over the map. They're really hard to classify, really, because even though I said that, there's a lot of guitars. There's a lot of homage to like stuff that they grew up with. There's a lot of references to heavy metal, ska.
So is that like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard then? But
less psychedelic. Okay. More just like, imagine if you were listening to a song that starts sounding like a guitar riff from a Sum 41 song, and then halfway through it starts blipping and blooping like an EDM song, and then and then there's like a ska outro. That's 100 Gecs. They're ridiculous. So their first album, 1000 Gecs, came out a handful of years ago. Kind of shocked and confused people, and it became kind of an underground sensation. They've since signed to Atlantic. This is their first major label record, and it's just 10,000 Gecs. They just multiplied. So they add a 0, and they also add a little bit of production sheen, but otherwise they are still the same 100 Gecs. This record is ridiculous. They've leaned harder into every single weird thing about their brand. There's some real weird stuff on here, but it's fun. Like I said, it starts with a song that kind of has some 41 vibes, and then kind of as the record goes on, it gets more like varied and all over the map. I'm struggling to even describe some of the stuff here. Their lyrics are classically very strange. There's a song about like a serial killer on here. There's a song, there's a song that likens that sounds like a love song, but is really, or like a breakup song, but it's really about like a sore tooth. It's a bizarre time, but it's enjoyable. I have a good time with it. It's just,
you like all the chaos and confusion.
Yeah, it's chaotic. It's the best term for it. It's just wild. I can't even say it. I recommend giving it a shot. Although I imagine there's going to be probably a breaking point for some people on here. There's a song called $1 Million that is literally just the phrase $1 million repeated over and over again by different AI voices. Okay. So the TikTok lady voice is there. Like, traditional robot voice is there. Like you get a lot of different, and it's just $1 million over and over again while chaos is happening in the background. And there's like a breakdown and just like, I think a lot of people are just going to be like, absolutely not. So your endurance might be tested by this thing if you're not too familiar with their whole bit. But if you're in, this is just going to make you like the Gecs better. I think it's probably a better, more consistent record than the first one. And yeah, it's just craziness, absolute craziness. So
sounds like a fun time.
Those are the Gecs. Those are the Gecs.
Like all 100 time.
All 100 of those Gecs.
All right, so the next one's going to be 100,000 Gecs.
Yeah. They're working toward 1 million Gecs.
Yes.
That's where this is going. Anyway, that's the only thing I listened to this week. Maybe next week I'll talk about Lana. I'm not sure. She's been really hit or miss for me, so we'll see.
Do we want to talk about those new Taylor Swift songs?
Yeah, we can briefly bring them up. I don't know if you listened to them.
I listened to 2 of them. One of them was Meet Me at the Movies, or whatever
the
movie's called.
That's a good one. Yeah. It's a good, solid bonus track.
When We Were the Movies, or...
Yeah, something. If we were... Or if this were the movies, I think is what it is. Yeah, it's like technically it was a bonus track from the Speak Now era.
Mhm.
That is not what Taylor's referring to it as. She's adding this to the Fearless
Yep.
tracks, which makes sense because my guess is it was recorded somewhere nebulously between those two things, and so she didn't really know where to classify it, and she's not ready to release Speak Now yet. So, although the internet had the Swifties on TikTok had a theory, they think that she's purposefully putting this out before she does anything with Speak Now songs, so that way the entire package of Speak Now Taylor's version is just written by her, just like Speak Now originally was, because I guess this track is a co-write.
Okay.
So that's the theory. I don't know if there's any credence to that, but that's what the Swifties say. But yeah, I thought they were pretty solid songs. What was the one that had weirdly hard guitars? I forget, but one of the 4 songs she put out, I was like, what the hell is going on with this guitar line? And I thought it was the Atmos mix at first, but I don't know if it is. I think they just sound like that. And I was like, I'm going to have to listen to this at some point because I was like, this was a Taylor Swift song? I don't remember even hearing the original one and whether it had as harsh mixing in it. I don't know if that's a Jack Antonoff choice. I don't know what's going on there. So, but yeah, I thought they were okay.
All right.
They're fine.
Okay, I only listened to the one, I think. It was good. Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Taylor Swift song titled The One.
No, we'll get to that one on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Anyway, let's move on.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on into video games.
Yes.
And we start with new releases.
All right.
Starting with Deceive Inc. on the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Have a Nice Death on the Switch and the PC. Storyteller on the Switch and the PC. Altair Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key on the PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC.
I have a question. Is this person the Alchemist of the End and of the Secret Key? Or is this Alchemist of the End and also the Secret Key?
This is talking about the Alchemist of the End, who happens to also have the Secret Key.
So the first one, okay. Anyway, but your 2 big releases.
Yes. Is Chia for the PS4, PS5, and PC. This is also your PlayStation
Extras. Yes, catalog game. So this is going to be free to people who already are paying for extra or premium PlayStation Plus.
And that will be out on Tuesday.
Okay.
I will probably be streaming this on Wednesday.
Cool.
And then Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
For
2023.
Yes, for the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
I'll talk about it later because I played the demo. But yes, I'm hoping to get my hands on the disc proper as well when this releases on Friday, I believe. So yeah, look forward to me talking about it hopefully on Saturday next week for the podcast.
Now it's time to double down because Diablo 4 is on its way.
Yeah.
And Blizzard has acknowledged the long queue times players have faced when attempting to play this weekend's Diablo 4 beta. So the beta, which is open for this weekend for players who've pre-ordered and or have eaten the KFC Double Down sandwich to get a code.
The Double Down, back from the dead and here to promote Diablo 4.
Yes. A sandwich.
Because it's the devil's sandwich.
With 2 chickens and no bun.
You know, the devil's sandwich.
Like chicken is the bun. You get more meat. Yes. Well, if you didn't get a code, next weekend it's going to be for everybody.
Right.
So Diablo 4 beta opened to queues of several hours for some players.
Jesus Christ.
Players also reported that once they were able to get into the game, it crashed and had an inability to connect with friends in order to play together that dragged the experience.
Yeah.
Now, Diablo's community manager has acknowledged this and thanked players for their patience. In a post to the Blizzard forums, Adam Fletcher wrote, quote, "The team is working through some issues behind the scenes and have been affecting players and causing them to be disconnected from the servers. For the time being, we are managing the rate of players entering the game until we have a full fix for the disconnection issues," end quote. Coming from Blizzard, this sounds awfully familiar.
They just can't catch a break for the life of them. Like, whether it's WoW expansions or Overwatch 2, they can't launch a game right. And it's plagued them forever, but especially recently. And this is just sad. Everybody's getting their double downs, coming home, strapping in with their greasy little fingers and trying to click on some demons.
And their Baja Blast.
Can't get in. Baja Blast?
Wait, no, sorry, no. That's case. Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry, think of like a Kentucky hut.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can find one.
You can find a Kentucky hut.
Yeah, get the Baja Blast and a double down. Yeah. Really feel your heart explode. Yeah, I mean, this sucks for people who are excited about Diablo 4. And a lot of people are reasonably excited about Diablo 4. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I'm even thinking about giving it a shot.
13 years almost?
Since Diablo 3?
Yeah.
God, has it really?
Go say Diablo 3 was 2010 or 2008?
Oh, geez. I don't know if it's that old. Maybe 2011? I don't know.
It came out with the PS3 came out.
Yeah, it's getting there, certainly. You're right. But yeah, needless to say, it's going to be or not PS3. You're thinking PS4.
No.
What?
That was a PS3 game.
Yeah, I know, but like not launch. So yeah, I'm guessing it was probably later then.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I get it. Online games are hard. You have to do what you have to do if you're experiencing errors. And to a certain extent, this is what a beta is supposed to do. It's supposed to test load. This is why they're doing it as slow release as opposed to everybody get in at once.
This is why it's a beta, so they can fix all the bugs.
I get it, but at the same time, it is just a PR nightmare again. And they have how many times do they have to go through this same stuff to only to try to fix it and then lose completely all of their marketing momentum because of it? We watched it happen with Overwatch 2, and I imagine that Blizzard, the last thing they want for Diablo, one of their premier franchises, to have the same thing. So we'll see. We'll see if it can survive it and if the next week's beta has better performance.
I mean, it better because it's going out to all players next weekend. This is just everyone who had the code for it.
It's going to be a lot of people angry.
Yep, everyone who pre-ordered or double down.
Potentially, yeah. Double down. Delicious. I gotta get myself one of those things.
While we're here, while it's here.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to miss it because I loved those things back in the day. Except I can't have it with the bacon anymore. I'm on a feathers and fins situation with meat right now, and so
that's how pigs fly. Got it.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I have been skipping the beef and the pork. So I'm like, man, but maybe they'll let me take the bacon off. Then I think without the bacon, it's just sauce cheese between two chicken. Honestly, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm still down. I'm double down. Anyways, what's your second story?
Enough about that.
Enough about my poor 33-year-old heart.
No, let's go to space.
Yeah.
With Starfield. Well, it's coming.
In space, no one can hear your arrhythmia.
In space, no one can double down for you. So Starfield, it's on its way. It's coming. And it's getting rated.
Yeah, by Australia.
Yes, because they do everything first over there.
Yeah, I guess so.
So the Australian Classification Board has rated Starfield R18 plus, restricted rating due to its portrayal of drug use. So when rating games, the board breaks down each game into 6 categories: sex, nudity, themes, language, violence, and drug use.
Sounds like a party.
It sounds like Supreme Court trying to decide where pornography lies.
Yeah, maybe.
And it rates their potential impact on players.
It's an interesting way of doing it, I think.
While its Starfield rating noted that there was no sex and very mild nudity, it also noted a moderate impact for themes and bad language, as well as a strong impact for violence.
I mean, I'd imagine. I mean, you're going to shoot people in the head.
In a shooter, it's going to have a strong impact for violence.
Yeah.
However, under the drug use category, the board gave its highest rating of high impact, pushing the game into an R18 plus classification. Now, it's not yet clear what this drug use entails or what it makes or what it so serves in the eyes of the Australian rating board.
I mean, this is Bethesda, so I imagine the mechanic works probably similar to the drugs, I'm using quotes, in the Fallout games, right? Where you're taking stuff to like temporarily buff your stats. So that's probably what this is talking about. The question is, are these going to be future space drugs?
Also, how are you finding these drugs? If it's Fallout style and you're just grabbing drugs anywhere and just popping them in, don't want you might not want to promote that.
I imagine that that's probably exactly what it is. What it reminded me though of is that there was actually a discussion back. Wow, geez, speaking of like 13 years ago, 13 years ago in video games about like whether games should make up funny fictional names for real life drugs. Because I don't know if you know this, in a similar story to this for Fallout 3, there was a version of Fallout 3 that actually just straight up named the drugs real drug names. They ended up changing that and made up those fake names for their drugs instead. And I think that's what saved them with an M rating here in the US. In comparison, some Grand Theft Auto games actually got away with real drug names, most notably Chinatown Wars on the DS. At the time, it was kind of controversial. It's like, oh, you're just straight up selling cocaine. You just sell cocaine in this game. There's a mini game where you sell drugs and everything. I think the difference is you were selling them and not using them. So maybe there's a difference.
You were just a mule?
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions about that kind of thing. And I honestly thought this was a conversation that we weren't going to have anymore. But here we are. In Australia, they're still very sensitive, I guess. So yeah, there's a lot of questions. And this story, what it does is it opens the door to wildly speculate about what these drugs are and how they're used in Starfield. I'm curious.
Now we know in like BioShock and more recently Atomic Heart, where you just stab yourself.
Yeah, but again, with fake ass drugs, with fake ass names, and I wonder if it's just the names that are such a sticking point for some of these plays. It would be really funny if they're just real life names, but with space in front of it.
Space penicillin.
Space speed. Space crack. Space weed. I want to get my hands on some space weed. They really, really get you high. Stratosphere.
Space insulin.
Space insulin. Hey, at least the space insulin is kept under like a certain amount of money.
Under $35.
Yeah,
35 credits.
Yeah. They have better insurance in space. Anyways, yeah, that's it for that story.
Yeah. So that's just the Australian rating. Has not been rated by the European board or by the what's the US board?
The ESRB.
The ESRB, yes.
I just said it.
Yeah. So it hasn't been rated there. We'll see where it gets rated.
Yeah. It's gonna get an M rating.
Probably.
It's not even worth questioning it. Skyrim got an M. Come on.
Skyrim got an M?
Skyrim
but
was
it's
an
fantasy.
M-rated game. Yes.
All right.
Anyways,
let's talk about an actual M-rated game.
Yeah. Yes, the most M-rated game.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Maybe not.
Resident Evil 4. So you played the demo.
Yeah. So there is a demo out on all platforms that are going to get Resident Evil 4, I should say. So PS5, Xbox, and Series, or the Series and PC. You can download it. It's called the Resident Evil 4 Chainsaw Demo. And if that sounds familiar, then you're old because they did the same thing back with the original Resident Evil 4. In fact, it's pretty much the same demo, except not. And let me explain what that means. So if you remember back in the day, the Resident Evil 4 demo pre-release was basically the first part of the game. Is it the very first scene? I honestly don't remember. It's been a long time. Where you are Leon, rookie cop, Leon S. Kennedy. I don't think he's a rookie here though. That's Resident Evil 2. He comes into a mysterious Spanish village. And
all right, so this isn't Raccoon City then.
No. That's
3.
That's 2 and 3.
Yeah.
No, this is in a Spanish village, and you basically are tasked with finding the president's daughter. You're basically tasked by the U.S. To find the U.S. president's daughter, and so you've only to find though that there's some sort of plague, Las Plagas, that has come in and basically is turning everybody into zombies. But there's a catch. In Resident Evil 4, the zombies are not like the zombies from the first 3 Resident Evil games. They're fast zombies. They're swarming zombies. They're zombies that will get up in your grill and run at you.
These are World War Z zombies.
Yeah, no longer shambling zombies, that you can really wait and get that headshot. No, they're coming straight to you. And thus, Resident Evil 4 is a more action-oriented game. And yeah, this demo just throws you right into it right away. You just walk into the village, immediately you're like, okay, well, I'm going to stealth around these guys. It's like, right? Well, wrong, because at some point you will get into the sight of one of those zombies, and they will all swarm you. And the way that the game makes it a little easier for you is they give you some more melee options. Basically, there's a stagger mechanic where if you hit a zombie in the head a couple times, it will stagger and there'll be a button prompt. You go up to it and basically roundhouse kick it in the face and knock it over. There's a lot of mechanics like that. Plus, you have a unbreakable, or no, not an unbreakable, I believe. Wait, I don't remember. No, I think the knife in 4 is unbreakable. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you have a knife basically for close-up attacks in case you need it. No, maybe it is breakable. Maybe I did break mine. Yeah, I think I did break mine.
Did you have to restock?
So yeah, there is a little bit of a crafting mechanic that's borrowed from the re-releases of 2 and 3. So there you'll be getting gunpowder to make ammo and stuff to make new knives, or picking up knives off of dead bodies and stuff like that. The game looks amazing. It's super wet. It's rainy. And everything is just that beautiful, glistening, ray traced to hell and back look to it. It looks great. It feels just as good as I remember it feeling, except they've changed the aiming so that way you can move and shoot. In the original Resident Evil 4, it was literally a stop, and there was a laser sight on your pistol that you could aim. Mm-hmm. Here, it's a little bit more traditional, again, borrowing from the re-releases of 2 and 3. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, and of course, it's called the Chainsaw Demo for a reason. A guy basically comes in and tries to chainsaw massacre you. And he's real scary. And yeah, you basically have to dodge him and try to shoot him as many times as possible until a mysterious something happens, and they all a bell chimes, and then all of a sudden the zombies don't care about you anymore. They have to attend mass.
They dong.
Yeah, and go into the chat, and you're like, wait, what? And that's how the demo ends.
Just it ends with a big mass.
Yeah, they all go into the church and leave you alone outside, and you're like, what the fuck? And then the classic line that Leon says after this happens: "Where's everybody going? Bingo."
To church. He's turned to Hosier.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so yeah, it's a fun demo. It's short, but from what I understand, that there's a lot of cool secrets. There's a secret area with a gun that you can unlock. And yeah, the game's out next week, so I'm really excited to see what else they did with it. From all accounts, when reviews hit yesterday, is that it's a really, really good remake of that game.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of it. It's a fun little game. And yeah, like I said off pod, it got me to download Resident Evil 2 remake from a few years ago. I've been playing a little bit of that, and it's pretty cool too. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I never played the Resident Evil games besides 4 and 5. And so going back in time and getting some background on these characters has been fun.
All right.
So yeah, that's my story. Anyways, plenty other video games we should talk about.
I finished both the games I currently have that GameFly.
Good.
I spent a lot more time on them than I actually wanted to. For both good and bad reasons. But as I mentioned, Chia is coming out on Tuesday.
You'll be playing some Chia for us.
And I think I got some golf coming up because the Masters are right around the corner. The new PGA Road to the PGA Tour game is coming up.
Ooh.
So I'm probably going to get that when it comes in.
Someone awesome goes to the links.
Someone awesome goes back to the links.
Yes, exciting. Exciting times.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. I'll look forward to that. In the meantime, let's do a pivot into the second half of the show. And let's start talking about television. And we always start television with the Sports Corner. And of course, the number one thing on everybody's minds right now is March Madness. It's time to get mad. Your number one seeds have been determined. Alabama, Houston, Purdue, and Kansas.
And at least one of them is no longer with us.
Uh-oh, what already happened?
All right. So we've already had 3 upsets. through the round of 64. The first one happened early Thursday with Furman defeating Virginia, 13 seed defeating number 4 seed. Furman.
Furman?
Yep, Furman. We also have Princeton. Yes,
Damn,
that Princeton. Number 15 seed beating number 2 Arizona.
Damn, harsh.
59-55. But your big upset came last night with Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Who?
Exactly. Fairleigh Dickinson.
Good name.
Defeated number 1 seeded Purdue
Damn.
to become only the second 16th seeded team to beat a number 1 in the first round.
Wow, that's quite a move.
Yep, all because of Sean Moore. Not that Sean Moore.
different one.
Different Sean Moore. No, that guy was a blocking machine.
Wow.
They just go for the layup. He's like, nope, get out of here.
Nope, not gonna happen.
Oh, that was such a fun game to watch.
Well, cool.
Fun fact, last season, Fairleigh Dickinson only won 4 games.
Damn.
And they only got into this tournament on a technicality because the team who won their tournament was in a transition period and they weren't allowed to participate. Wow. So they got in on a technicality.
And hey.
And ended up beating Purdue.
I was going to say, hey, they're taking advantage of this opportunity, right? Like they're really in there to win it.
They're really having their one shining moment.
Yes, exactly. We'll get there.
A
few weeks.
Bradley Man tears.
But yeah, in the meantime, though, do you have a bracket? And if so, is it already broken?
Oh, because of this, all brackets have been busted.
Broken. Yeah, no one's going to win.
Yes, ESPN reported that as of yesterday, 0%, 0.00% of brackets survived.
No one is going to get this perfectly correct.
Going into Friday's games, 0.9% still had a functional bracket. But once again, after the first round, nobody is safe.
Jesus Christ.
So it just goes to show the chaos and the madness that occurs with these brackets.
Seriously. So, all right. Well, so what do you think? Do you foresee even more chaos happening?
Yes, of course. This is just the beginning.
All right.
This is where you actually want to tune in to watch college basketball.
Well, stay tuned, I guess, and see the madness as it happens in real time. Next up, if you're more mad about hockey, and if you happen to be in the Boston metropolitan area, you'll be happy to learn that the Bruins have been the first to clinch their playoff spot. San Jose Sharks, meanwhile, well, too bad. They're the first to be eliminated from contention.
So we knew that the Bruins were going to be in the playoffs.
Yes.
They officially hit 11 losses, so goodbye to that record.
Well.
Oh, well. But a consolation, you're already guaranteed a playoff spot.
It's pretty good consolation, if you ask me.
Meanwhile, San Jose Sharks.
Yeah. So how are your Los Angeles Kings doing?
Still 1 point behind the goddamn Vegas.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
They're neck and neck. They're close. Jonathan Quick is now 3-0 as a Golden Knight.
Well, there you go. It's just not for you anymore, unfortunately.
No, it's okay because if they go 1-2, they won't play each other until the finals.
So much for your inside job theory.
That is the inside job theory.
Oh, you're saying that means it's still going.
Yeah,
still
because not until they meet in the playoffs.
Well, we'll see. We will see. Meanwhile, in the professional basketball world of the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks have clinched their playoffs in the Eastern Conference, and the Denver Nuggets clinched their playoffs in the Western Conference.
Yep, the first 2 teams from both conferences to clinch.
Yep.
Still, I think we talked about people who were eliminated last week, including like the Detroit Pistons.
All right. Well, I guess we'll look forward to more winners and losers in basketball soon.
So hockey and basketball
starting to wrap up.
Starting to get into playoff mode.
So get ready for that. But if you rather watch baseball, there's spring training still happening. But most importantly, there's the World Baseball Classic. It ends Tuesday. We are going into the semis here with Cuba versus either the United States team or Venezuela.
Yep, they play today as of this recording. The winner will play Cuba.
Yes.
in the semifinals.
And then we already have the second semis decided, which will be between Team Japan and Team Mexico.
That's Team Otani versus Team Mexico.
You basically that team. No, there's other people that are doing really well on that team too. But this is an exciting matchup. I'm very curious. I have not had time, unfortunately, because of the way that they're shown.
Mhm.
They're either late at night or in the middle of the day. I have not watched a whole lot of World Baseball Classic, but I will try to watch some of these games.
It's okay.
If I can.
60% of Japan watches it for you.
Damn.
Of everyone in Japan, 60% of TVs tuned in to the Japan South Korea game, which is the one before it.
Yeah, I believe that.
So yeah,
national pride. Well, good for them. I'm glad that Otani is doing so well. Again, it bodes extremely well for the season as long as he doesn't hurt himself or burn himself out. So let's see.
And as long as we're able to watch.
As long as we're able to watch. So, which is, yes, yeah. Thank you for the segue. As our first story has to do with that. So this is a follow-up to what we kind of discussed a few times here. And also, I feel super vindicated because I was 100% correct.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right.
Oh, yeah.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah, I can pick up the phone here because, yeah, all the research I did paid off. Yes, no, this was going to always happen this way. So we've been talking about the Diamond Sports Group. That is the Sinclair subsidiary that controls the regional sports networks for 42 teams across baseball, hockey, and the NBA. So we had mentioned before that it was in all likelihood that they would be filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The other shoe finally dropped. They have filed, as of Tuesday night, 3 days before the end of a 30-day grace period it entered into with creditors. Diamond, which has more than $8 billion in debt, said it, quote, intends to use the proceedings to restructure and strengthen its balance sheet, which, yes, is the very definition of Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and that it, quote, the RSNs will continue to operate in the ordinary course during this process, exactly what I said that they would do. The company added that it possesses $425 million of cash in order to continue funding its business during the process. Major League Baseball is the league that is most directly impacted by Diamond's situation, given that its season will begin in less than 3 weeks. The other leagues are wrapping up, which means that soon there won't be any negotiations. That basically will be punted, no pun intended, to another date.
Yes, as we just mentioned, both hockey and basketball entering playoffs.
Yes.
Their seasons will end in April, so they only have like 3 or 4 weeks left.
So to be exactly clear, so I did some reading on this to really understand how this works. Essentially, to have a team on their service, they make the deal with the team.
Yes.
Unlike organizations like the NFL, baseball is largely operated on a team-by-team basis. The team themselves negotiate for TV rights. This is not like the NFL, where it's the league doing those negotiations. So that means that each of these teams have separate deals with Diamond. So Diamond has the choice, or I guess, depending on the monetary situation, force their hand to whether renew or decline to renew these individual agreements. So to this point, Diamond has made payments to all its sported teams, except, ironically enough, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes.
Other teams which run their broadcasts under the name Bally include the Detroit Tigers, Miami Marlins, Cleveland Guardians, Kansas City Royals, St. Louis Cardinals, Minnesota Twins, Cincinnati Reds, San Diego Padres, the Los Angeles Angels, Atlanta Braves, Texas Rangers, Tampa Bay Rays, and the Milwaukee Brewers.
All those are big city markets. Well, except maybe San Diego Padres, but they're now Slam Diego again.
Yeah, and so they all signs point to them having a spectacular season.
Yes,
especially with the Dodgers being weak. And they're also, from the research I've done, going to be hit incredibly hard if this deal falls through.
Oh, yes.
Because they are very reliant on having this package.
Much in the same way that the Dodgers are heavily reliant on
the
Spectrum package. Yeah.
So Diamond now, as long as this is the case, must continue to pay them their rights fees. Otherwise, the teams would then have a free ability to go to somewhere else to make a contract with for TV rights. The league, and we didn't report on this because this was kind of happening in the background, but the league basically said that if they had to, if their hand was forced, they would, depending on the team's situation, take on broadcasting for those teams. Now, they weren't specific with what that means. All they said is that they would try in the meantime until renegotiations happened to make those free. So if, for example, they cannot pay the Arizona Diamondbacks, what this is saying is that the league would then take that contract until the Diamondbacks made a deal with, say, a cable company, a streamer, etc. Until that happened, the league is basically guaranteed that they will put on YouTube, for example, the streams of the games for free.
Apple TV
until
because
they
have a deal.
Right. Until that happens. Obviously, that means that it won't be free forever because eventually the negotiation will go through.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps Bally will recover and be able to buy that contract back. But again, the killer part here is that the season starts in 2 weeks. So you're looking at, like, if you're an Arizona fan, you're right now being like, well, how the hell am I going to watch my games? You legitimately don't know because the league has not confirmed their solution yet. And Bally is saying, well, we're not paying them, so that's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that are up in the air. But like I said before, most teams will still have their games telecast on Bally until they can't afford to do it anymore. And like this story says, $425 million have already been put aside to make sure that this goes on, that these broadcasts keep happening.
And just to give you a little understanding of how big that debt is of $8 billion,
Mm-hmm.
$425 million sounds like a lot of cash.
Yeah.
5%.
Right. 5%.
Of $8 billion debt.
So yeah, it's a small kick in the bucket compared. So the other wrinkle here, and the other shoe that has not dropped, we're looking at an octopus worth of shoes here.
Yes.
Is whether or not the league is going to rethink blackout dates before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like probably not. Seems like the deadline is coming in too hot for them to have made a decision yet. I doubt it's going to be like a, no pun intended, game time decision where all of a sudden the day before they're like, no blackout on MLB TV. I doubt it. I feel like if that was going to happen, we would have heard something by now. Unless miracle of all miracles, something that happens this week. It seems like even though Manfred seemed like he was interested in having that discussion, it doesn't look like anything has been decided, unfortunately. So there's a version of this where maybe this doesn't matter. Maybe the solution is just sign up for MLB TV regardless of where you are because you can watch everything. That's what I'm hoping for. As you mentioned, Apple TV already have set that precedent with their MLS coverage.
Yep.
So fingers crossed over here that the league does the right thing and just says, like, actually, let's solve this problem for everyone.
Or you can make it a bigger problem and put it on Peacock.
Well, not for us, but anybody else.
Yes.
Get just an even more incentive to watch all the Poker Face.
Yes.
Streaming now. No, we're not paid, but please, Peacock, pay us. We talk
at least
such good things about you now. Don't look into our back catalog, but look at us now. We're great. We love Peacock.
Also, HBO Max has been doing live streaming.
Yeah.
For the international soccer games.
That's true.
But I've watched some of those streamings live, and yeah, that's not good coverage.
No, I've
either.
heard it's bad. So anyway, so yeah, that was a long-winded explanation for just saying most teams, you will not be affected by this bankruptcy. You will be continuing to watch your team's local on Bally Sports. You know, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what your opinion about that is.
The current one to look for is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right. Everyone else has a deal outside of Bally Sports.
So we'll see. Basically, we now that's your update. But yeah, we will have more news as that happens, and we'll tell you as soon as it happens. Let's move on.
But yeah, Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, it happened.
Done. Restructure.
But yeah, we'll see if it works. Let's move on to the rest of the news this week. There are so many little bits and pieces that we made the bits for you.
So this is a culmination of stuff that we've talked about in the past.
Yes.
Now just coming back around.
So, and we start with the BBC. They apologized Wednesday for the scheduling disruptions from, of course, as we reported, the employees' strike, their biggest strike in 13 years, which was protested over job losses and changes to local content.
They did end up striking for 24 hours.
The walkout happened, and yes, the BBC's programming was affected.
Yep.
So yeah, congratulations to them. They really proved a point, I think.
And they now enter into negotiations again.
Right.
Until
the
coronation.
Right? Coronation, right?
Coronation happens, right. And then Eurovision happens.
So yeah, that's the next time. So
this was just a preview.
Yes.
And if they don't want the coronation to happen just like this.
We'll see. I mean, it doesn't seem like anybody's that excited about it anyways.
No, actually, people are rooting for the opposite to happen.
Anyway, meanwhile, speaking of strikes, the crew strike, specifically the post-production crew strike on Saturday Night Live, is averted. The tentative agreement will result in pay increases of up to 60% ahead of a 3-year deal. It also includes ratification bonuses, healthcare benefits, which was their biggest sticking point, guarantees of employer-paid meals, transportation, and hotel accommodations for employees working long shifts with short turnarounds. And I imagine on a weekly show, those turnarounds are always short.
Oh, yes.
So yes, congratulations to a successful negotiation on the behalf of the post-production editors over on SNL.
Yep. They were planning on striking on April 1st, I believe was the show. Yeah, on the April 1st show.
So, yeah.
And guess who they just announced as the April 1st host?
Oh, I don't know who.
Quentin Brunson.
Hey! Oh, that's great.
Yes.
I actually have to watch that one. Cool. So, yeah, good for them. Successful strike. Let's move on. YouTube television, YouTube TV specifically, is back in the news again for the same reason as always. Hey, you want to pay more? Because they would love for you to pay more.
Well, you're going to pay more.
12% more. The TV package, which is basically their streaming cable alternative, is now up to $72.99 a month. So there's an asterisk here. This is the base package. This does not include the 4K add-on. However, if you want that 4K add-on, you're going to pay slightly less than you used to. It is going down from $19.99 extra a month to only $9.99 extra a month. So that means a grand total of $82 or $82 roughly. $82 for a month if you want all of the YouTube TV plus 4K content.
And YouTube Red or Premium or whatever they call it.
Right, yeah, bundled into that. This is interesting because, of course, this presages their NFL Sunday Ticket add-on coming later this year. That will also probably be an additional fee.
Yep.
I would imagine that's also probably going to be $9.99 a month.
Probably.
So, yeah, you're going to spend probably over $90 to watch all of that if you're a football fan. So get ready to just give your wallet
a month. A month.
So get ready. And then, meanwhile, in the streaming world, Netflix has beat a defamation lawsuit from a retired police officer over the Making a Murderer series.
So this was the lawsuit that came out 3 years ago when Making a Murderer came out, about one of the cops that they interviewed, saying that he felt it was defamation because they put ominous music over what he was saying. And the way they were editing made it look like he was guilty of tampering evidence.
Damn.
But the judge ended up saying that ominous music doesn't count as manipulating what you're saying because you're still saying it.
Right. You're still saying the things you said.
Yes. And the way it's edited falls under free speech.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky.
And the sticking point was they didn't come out and say, you did this or we're accusing you of this.
Right.
It just led people to that conclusion.
Yeah. I guess this really had to the line between those two things is really small. And I feel like, they just couldn't prove it. So, yeah, I guess sucks for that guy.
Well, I mean, he just has to pay his lawyer fees now.
All right. Speaking of paying lawyer fees, we're going to pay our dues here as we finished some television and started some television this week. We'll keep The Last of Us for last, I think. And we'll wrap that up into a tiny little package for y'all. But first, what else did you watch this week?
So, speaking of lawyer fees, The Good Doctor had Yes.
That's not what it says here.
Yes. The Good Doctor had a special episode this past week in which they premiered and kind of shoehorned in a pilot episode for their spinoff, The Good Lawyer.
Ah, I see.
Yes. So The Good Lawyer may or may not be a television show coming in the fall. It had their premiere, a premiere this past week, and if ratings or people think it's good, they'll put it to series for a new show in the fall. This stars Felicity Huffman as not the good lawyer, but rather the mentor lawyer. The good lawyer is Nancy Drew.
Oh.
The girl who did Nancy Drew in the CW series.
Okay.
I forget what her name was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, she's the good lawyer.
Okay.
And she doesn't have autism like the Good Doctor has.
No.
She has OCD.
Aha.
That is the twist here, or the hook.
Got it.
Is that she has OCD. Her thing is that she has to tap 3 times for good things to happen, and will freeze up if things don't go her way. As far as a premise, I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. I think it definitely needs to be polished out.
Sure.
There's a lot of good stuff in it where like a client is explaining what's happening, and then she'll stop him and be like, wait, that didn't happen because of this, or like, but someone said this happened. Being a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's a good way to introduce the way the good doctor does it, of, well, he like sees the medical books and puts pieces together. She sees the crime or the what's happened from her client play out and sees it all pieced together.
Okay.
That's the same kind of concept, dealing with both like personal struggles as well as legal struggles as well. Being seen for the good lawyer that you are, and not just someone who is being handicapped because of your conditions.
Okay.
It's fine. I don't know if Lizzie Husband should be on The Good Lawyer, especially since she was just in the big legal scandal for colleges.
Well, she's not the good lawyer.
No, she's the mentor.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's fine. It flows right in with The Good Doctor in that kind of like drama, procedural
kind of vibe,
lawyer drama. I kind of missed that with We the People when it was on ABC.
Right.
So might be good. If it gets checked the series, I'll check it out when it comes into the fall. But this has been kind of their shoehorn of a
little Trojan horse
pilot.
Yeah.
So when they do put this, so when they do the actual series or like spin-off,
I believe the term is backdoor pilot.
It's called a
backdoor pilot. So yeah, this is their attempt.
It's their attempt.
We'll see if it works.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you got your reality show on.
Yes. I was able to watch Outlast. This is the thing everyone's talking about on the internet right now.
Well, I haven't seen anybody talking about it, but we're in different parts of the internet, I guess.
Yes, this is reality show.
Yes.
This is Netflix reality show where they take 16 contestants, place them into the Alaskan wilderness, and say, survive.
Oh, boy. Okay.
That's it.
So it's Survivor.
No.
No?
It's not Survivor.
Okay.
Because there are no games.
Okay.
There's only 2 rules. 1, outlast everybody.
Right.
2, you must stay within these set parameters.
Yeah. You can't just leave.
You can't just like keep wandering up the mountain upstream. And then that's pretty much it. Those are the only 2 rules.
Okay. How do you get eliminated?
You have to eliminate yourself.
Oh, you just give up?
Yes.
Okay, so they're relying on everybody giving up.
Yes. So because they're set in the wilderness, they're 16 players are just randomly meeting on this wilderness patch. A drop comes down, each with 4 sets of tools for each 4 teams. They immediately have to split up into 4 teams, like without knowing anybody.
Right.
They're just, hey,
strangers.
Like you, me, here, now.
Like a group project in science lab.
Oh, except it's utter chaos. Because
just like a group project in science lab.
Yeah, and you get just the team at the end who like doesn't go with everyone, so they have to be grouped together. Just like a group in science class.
Thank you. Rule 3s.
Yes. So they're split up into 4 teams. So 16 players, 4 teams, and you are meant to survive as the team.
Okay.
Now, you yourself can choose to be eliminated if it gets too tough, if you can't take it anymore.
It's like,
if
right,
you
get
out. Sick and you want to, you need to be removed from the game, you can shoot a flare gun and they will come and get you.
Okay. All right.
That is the only way to leave the game. To shoot the flare gun and be eliminated. Otherwise, you are still a part of the game.
Got it. Okay.
And it is chaos.
Sounds like it.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, no, thank you. This is the exact kind of thing that I just do not want to watch.
Oh, but all the manipulation, all the head games. Lisa. Oh, Lisa. just the manipulation, the downright like editing of everything just ratchets it up the tension. I put this on as just a thing to like, okay, let me check out the first half hour of this. It looks like a dumb survival thing. And then Doctor comes in and she's like, hey, what's this thing? And all of a sudden the women were kicking ass and she's like, oh, what is this thing? I'm interested now.
Yeah.
So we ended up watching the whole thing in like
Damn.
2 days.
Wow. Okay.
And it's chaos. It's utter complete chaos.
Sounds like it.
I don't know if it's actually good because it's by the end. It seems like the producers, once they were able to whittle down people, that the people that they had left were just going to survive outright. But winter was coming in, and you can't camp there in the winter, so they had to find some way to make everyone like compete in the final prize, so that way they could get everyone out before winter came in, and they'd just be stuck there.
Jeez.
Because they were woefully underprepared for winter.
Sure sounds like it.
But yeah, if you want to see how you cannot survive in the Alaskan wilderness and how these people somehow managed to survive, that is Outlast on Netflix.
All right, well, check that out if that's up your alley.
Not to be confused with the other Outlast TV series.
Right, different.
Yes.
That's what confused me at first.
I think that's Prime Video, right?
You just call that thing Outlast, but I guess you can.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's that. Now, something completely different. Hey, Ted Lasso is back.
Hey, Ted Lasso's back.
Yep, the reason to get Apple TV Plus, Ted Lasso returns for its 3rd season. The first episode is up. We left our hero being faced with an adversary that used to be a friend.
But we also left with our hero finally conquering his personal league and personal health.
Yeah, more or less.
And being the team being promoted back into the Premier League.
So yeah, the season kind of starts with that as the dressing. You get to see all of your favorite characters and get an update about where they're at. And then, yeah, it's a good start, I think. I'm not really sure where exactly this season will go. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more of an underdog story, just like the first season. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All the kind of the pieces are in place. Now it's just a matter of where they go.
Yep. Also, keeping that positive attitude in the face of adversity.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole bit. And he's still doing the bit. I'm just wondering if there's maybe some cracks starting to show in that bit, though, and maybe there's going to be a dark turn sometime soon. We'll see.
Will he be bitten by the by the need for success?
Maybe.
Or will he be pushed by the need of success by his boss?
But yeah, we'll see. Because yeah, things are starting to get tense. So yeah, the season will continue from here on a weekly basis. So yeah, we'll see how I believe this is it, right? This is the final season.
Yep, they've announced that this is the final season.
Yep. So we'll see how they wrap it all up.
While you're watching Ted Lasso, you can also watch all of Shrinking.
Right, yeah, that's done now.
That will be done next week.
Next week.
Okay. Yes, next week is episode 10, the finale. I'll talk about my thoughts on it next week.
But in the meantime, there's one show we wrapped up this week as well, and that is The Last of Us.
Which only had 9 episodes.
So we don't have much to talk about here because last week we kind of already said our piece. But the final episode did air. We have now seen it. And it wrapped up, hey, just like the video game did. We were kind of talking about this pre-pod, but like we have a little bit of a bias here because we already knew what was going to happen. And so, I don't know, it was all right, but it was more or less what I expected.
Yeah, there were certain points throughout the story that they told that were very, I won't say video game gimmicky, but shot for shot of what happened in the video game.
It's felt a little too video gamey to me. There's a whole extended sequence of, wait, am I just playing this now? That kind of reminded me of, remember the Doom movie with The Rock?
Yes, where it goes into first person.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I got some vibes. And honestly, I'm not sure what I feel about it by the end of it. I really like the first half of this season, is I think where I've landed. The second half just felt a little rushed for me. It felt like they were trying to get to beats really quickly, and so they glazed over a lot of things. I feel like Joel and Ellie's relationship is really weird by the end of that thing. And Joel goes into super dad mode, and there's not really a whole, basically he wakes up from being hurt and from Ellie recovering, like helping him recover, and then all of a sudden he's like
Also, it's the finale.
and all of a sudden he's like the nicest dad to her in the world. And it's like, what the hell happened?
There should have been, yeah. Well, the reason I say this is 9 episodes because it should have been 10. That ninth episode should have been just a Joel and Ellie episode,
right?
Where he obviously becomes the father, obviously like cares for her.
I feel like there needs to be one more beat in between,
and then it ends when they get captured.
There needs to be one more beat, I think, of them like bonding a little bit more for that to feel earned for me.
Yeah,
and it feels like they skipped over it, and then Ellie's already starting to freak out, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, that happens in the game too, where she's like basically she freezes up towards the end there because she's not sure exactly what her fate will be. And then she kind of owns it, which is, of course, what adds the drama to that ending, right? Which is because, well, was Ellie really choosing her fate, or was Joel choosing it for her? And then, like, he kind of forces her hand in a weird way.
Wait, you mean the man chose for the woman?
Yeah.
And
again, I think that it would be interesting to have somebody who's perspective who has not played the game and see how they thought that the ending landed. Anecdotal evidence seems to say that people who have not played the game seem to be pretty high on it. That being said, I would be curious. So if you have not played The Last of Us and you've watched the show, please email us and give us your feedback. mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com is that email address. Because, it was a weird feeling for me. I mean, I still think it was a well-made show. I still think that they hit the beats they needed to, and narratively, it did feel like a complete package, with still leaving enough questions for people who are curious about a second season. Also, this week, they confirmed that the second season will not necessarily be the entirety of Part 2's story, but just a portion.
Yeah.
Which implies that maybe that'll give them some time to really let that stuff stretch and let it really live in that world, which is something I felt like the second half of the season did not do.
I think they're going to need to, because the way Part 2 ends, it immediately jumps locations.
I don't even understand how they're going to do the time jump, honestly. Like, Bella Ramsey looks pretty young. Hey, you know what? They'll figure it out, because of course they will, but I'm just like, geez.
Makeup.
Yeah, makeup can go a long way, I suppose.
You know she's not an actual 14-year-old girl, right?
Anyways, yeah, so I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think it's probably going to do well at the Emmys. That being said, not my favorite show of the year, I think, already. I think it did some smart things and it started really strong. I think that third episode is going to be, that Emmy is going to be the Emmy favorite. I mean, but beside that, though, I was a little disappointed with how it wrapped up.
I wasn't, because, like I said, we have played the video game, so we kind of know where it's going to go. I think there's some cool, interesting things that they did, especially with the Henry storyline.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool stuff that they tried to expand on. Like you said, episode 3 is a big departure from the game.
Yeah. Yes.
So when it's at its best is when it's not following the game point for point, shot for shot.
Take a lot.
That's what Craig Mazin does. He purposely is great at pulling acting and drama and tearness out of people.
I just wish that there was more of that in the last few episodes.
But then you have Neil Druckmann saying, no, it has to be this way.
He's like, well, we have to get back to the story. He was just in his ear constantly being like, yeah, what about the story?
That's not how I wrote it.
Right.
That's not how they acted it.
So less Druckmann, I think, next time, maybe, which sucks because I feel like he's all over that part 2, which is why I really didn't like it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's The Last of Us Season 1. I will have your write-up on the site later today. I will post that. You finished up your write-up. So yeah, I'll post that up so you can read his thoughts on mediaboatpodcast.com. All right, anything else in TV that we need to talk about?
I'll be watching a lot of sports this upcoming week. We'll talk about Shrinking next week.
Okay.
The Bad Batch finished. I don't know if I'm going to actually give my thoughts on it, because Season 2 is pretty much very much like Season 1.
Yeah.
So if you like Season 1, you'll like Season 2. If you didn't, it's going to be more like Disney animated shows.
Fair enough.
I did end up catching one episode of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur on Disney.
How's that?
That art style, everything's just copying Amazing Spider or the Spider-Verse style now.
All right.
Moves very fast, especially for a Disney show.
Interesting.
I still maybe watch from the beginning of how Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl even are a thing. But the episode I watched, it was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun, and I can kind of get into this.
Disney Animation's on fire right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you don't have this, but they announced that there will indeed be a second season of The Ghost and Molly McGee after I thought it was canceled. They are bringing it back. It will premiere on April 1st on Disney, and then a day after, they're going to do a day after thing for Disney Plus.
Okay.
So you can just watch it on streaming. So that'll be good, because I feel like people missed out on that first season. Yeah, no. So if it's anything that kind of vibe, I might check out Moon Girl and Double Dinosaur today. I know Christy was interested in it, so maybe we'll watch that today.
It moves really, really fast.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready for that kind of thing right now, especially after The Last of Us.
Yes.
Like the complete polar opposite tonally. Ready for a palate cleanser.
Yes.
Speaking of palate cleansers, The Bachelor is 2 weeks out from its wrap up. Yep. So I will maybe have some things to say about that. It's been the stupidest thing in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad we're watching it because it's the kind of stupid that's just like a train wreck you can't look away from. It is one of the stupidest TV shows I've ever seen. Week in, week out.
I'll just watch the finale.
But I just want to know what happens, because this guy from Anaheim Hills is the dumbest sack of rocks.
He's from Servite. What do you expect?
You probably. I wonder if you play football against him.
Well, no, because he was like the generation after me.
Oh, really? So you didn't have any crossover with him?
Well, because I graduated in 2008. He graduated in 2012.
Oh, so there was exactly 4 years.
So exactly 4 years.
So you wouldn't have had any overlap. That sucks, because that would have been so funny if you could say, like, I tackled that guy. I tackled The Bachelor.
No, there's no overlap in those 4 years.
So close, though. So close. Anyway, but yeah, he's such an idiot. It's been so funny to make fun of him. We've been doing this thing where after every website, we look up some website. I forget what website Christy goes to, but a recap.
Yeah.
And we just read the recap and just laugh along with these people talking about how stupid this whole thing is. It's ridiculous.
Hey, they're trying to find love in a very hopeless place.
Yeah, are they? We'll see. All right, let's move on to cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
No longer watching Three Pines on Prime Video, as it has been canceled after 1 season. I don't even know what that was. A League of Their Own, Back from the Dead. A second season has been confirmed, but will only be 4 episodes. So it's a truncated second season.
They're just going to let them wrap it up with 4 episodes.
Yeah, and that's all they're getting. That's it. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they do, because I enjoyed that first season. It wasn't one of my favorite shows last year, but definitely was fun to watch. And so yeah, I'm curious about what they do with the second season, or for all 4 episodes of it.
Good.
Next up, Prime Video is bringing back Citadel for a second season. The aforementioned Bachelor Nation will get their new Bachelorette for a 20th time.
And that will be this summer.
And they announced who it was, a competitor on this current Bachelor who was just eliminated. Charity. It will be her as the Bachelorette. We're okay with Charity as a pick. She's fine.
Is it a charity pick?
No. She's genuinely a nice girl, just a little boring. So yeah, we were
more boring than the boring guy.
Yeah, somehow we were hoping for one of the more interesting women to be chosen, but they were not. So We'll see. Then, if you're a soap opera fan, you'll know that Days of Our Lives will never stop. Sure enough, getting 2 more seasons, streaming only on Peacock, bringing it to a 60th season. That's a lot of soap opera.
Yeah, but it's all on Peacock, so if you want to watch it.
Can you imagine if you watched every single episode, you've got to be like in your 70s at this point?
Yeah.
That's wild to me. Willow on Disney Plus canceled after just 1 season.
No, who could have seen that coming?
Yeah, it wasn't enough of a cult hit to continue. And not enough people, I guess, cared about Willow.
Yep.
Speaking of Back from the Dead, F-Boy Island somehow survives being killed by HBO Max and shows up on, get this, the CW for its 3rd season.
Maybe. If the CW is even still around by the time it airs.
It's interesting because I didn't think they were in a position to make deals like this, but here it is.
I wasn't aware they were in a position for F-Boy Island to have a 3rd season.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to do this on network TV. Sure, go for it, CW.
As the article says, good luck explaining to your 60-year-old parents what an F-Boy is.
Yeah, on the CW. Wow, amazing. Peacock is bringing back Bel Air for a 3rd season as well. So there you go. Those are your new releases. Sorry, cancellations and renewals.
Yes.
Whatever this category is. And then a couple of deaths this week. Raleigh Crump, age 93, an animator for Disney, worked on Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, and 101 Dalmatians.
One of the was it Imagineers? Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Also,
He was also in
addition to animation.
Yes,
okay,
yes, he was an Imagineer.
Did design stuff for the parks?
It designed stuff for the animators.
Oh,
for the one of the character designers.
Okay, cool. And then also the sad one that hit yesterday, Lance Reddick, age 60.
A name you probably don't recognize, but a voice you definitely recognize.
Oh, I definitely recognize his name as well. But yes, he's been in a lot of stuff, most notably The Wire, the John Wick films, even in video games, doing voiceover for games like Destiny 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
He's a main character, actually, in Destiny. So it's like they're going to have to figure something out with that pretty soon here. But yeah, definitely will be missed. Strong performances, memorable voice, as you said. Just seems like an all-out nice guy, too. There was a tweet I saw yesterday where I guess one year Keanu Reeves, it was his birthday, and what he wanted more than anything, he literally asked his girlfriend, "Hey, let's visit Lance Reddick." And so they just hung out. And Lance, like, had said, apparently he was like super like thrown off by it. He was like, "Wow, it was so touching that someone was genuinely, I respect you and I like you and I want to hang out with you." And he was just like, you don't hear that a lot. And so he was like really touched by that moment. So it goes to show you, just really stand-up guy, really, really good guy.
And John Wick Chapter 4 just had its LA premiere, as it will be coming out next month.
So yeah, just a rough one, and 60 is really young, so just makes it all the rougher. So yes, RIP to Lance Reddick. Let's move on to the movie section here as we start to wrap up the show, and we always start with the weekend box office numbers. Your number one movie is Scream 6 with $44 million in its debut. So congratulations again. Scream movies are hot again. Christy and I are still trying to get through. We watched Scream 1. We need to continue through the series to get to these new ones.
You're going through the Screams?
We're going through the Screams.
All right.
She wanted to see them for the first time. Number two in the box office this week is Creed 3 with another $27 million. That's adding to a $101 million total domestic.
So congratulations to Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
You are 1 for 1 for $100 million films.
Good job. Good job. Number 3, 65 with $12 million in its debut. Not enough people care about 65.
Yes, Adam Driver beating Dinos.
Yeah.
Only $12 million.
Only 12. Number 4, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with another $7.1 million. That's almost at 200 at 198.
It'll hit 200 next weekend.
And then rounding out your top 5, Cocaine Bear with another $6.2 million. That's at 51. And in case you're wondering about your other debut this week, Champions, $5.1 million at number 6.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Sorry, Champions. Upcoming this week, as you mentioned, John Wick Chapter 4 is your big release.
Yeah, so I thought that was next month. Okay, because it's this week.
Month. So yeah, if you're ready to continue the John Wick adventures, Chapter 4 is almost here. So look forward to that. Next, as we move into movie news.
I don't know which one you want to do first.
Yeah, let's just roll right into Oscars. Yes, the Oscars were last week. We did our Oscar prediction show last week. And you know what? We did all right. I believe us combined, the four of us, we got everything correct. I believe we were 100% accurate.
No, there was one that we missed.
One, okay.
Do you remember which one that was?
No.
It's the one that everyone missed.
Oh, Angela Bassett losing.
Yes, Angela Bassett losing.
So Jamie Lee Curtis's win was probably the biggest surprise, but honestly, not really, because the theme of the night was Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to win nearly everything.
Yep.
They were the big winner on Sunday with 7 wins of the night, including, of course, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Lead Actress, both Supporting Actor awards, Best Editing, Best Original Screenplay. So pretty much everything except for Original Song.
Yes, which we knew it wouldn't win.
In second place was the World War I epic All Quiet on the Western Front, nabbing 4 wins for Best International Feature, Best Original Score, told you, Best Production Design, and Best Adapted Screenplay. So I was wrong about that one. Other winners include Brendan Fraser, who took home Best Lead Actor for The Whale, Navalny for Best Documentary, Natu for Best Original Song, you can gloat, and Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio for Best Animated Feature. So, yeah, we did okay. I missed 8 total.
I think I missed 9
you missed
total.
9. So we did all right.
But combined, we hit 18 out of the 19.
Or 22 out of 23.
Yeah, sorry.
Not bad at all, considering 4 people with completely disparate choices in a lot of cases. Not bad. But yeah, I think ultimately the vibe of the night was pretty good. Like, I enjoyed the time. It was a good production. I felt like it was pretty classy. I didn't love all of
all the Will
Kimmel's
Smith
bits,
jokes.
but
there's a lot of Will Smith jokes.
Yeah, I didn't love that. And overall, though, I felt pretty strongly about the show this year. It seemed like people enjoyed it more than previous years.
Viewership was up 18% over last year.
Turns out if you have a movie that people have seen and care about in your Best Picture nominations, people will watch the Oscars.
Like Top Gun.
Exactly.
Lady Gaga doing a stripped-down performance, which if she did that performance on Top Gun, probably would have won. But because that's not the song that they voted for, and I see people complain like, that performance was amazing. Yes, that performance was amazing. Yeah. And that's not the song that they submitted.
Yeah, it's tough. The stuff's always weird because you have to interpret it in a way. But yeah.
Considering that she wasn't even supposed to perform,
right,
and like decided 2 days
to do it anyway
before the awards.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, Everything Everywhere got the awards it deserved, relatively.
This is me picking up both phones, raising the roof.
I was right with you.
1 year, literally 1 year ago, I saw it in theaters, and I was telling literally everyone I could give out an ear to go see Everything Everywhere all at once while it was still in theaters.
So the other thing that happened this week is I rewatched it. I watched it for a second time now with Christy. She's seen it for the first time now. I still more or less feel the same. I liked it better the second time, but I still feel like so much of it is so distracting from the point. It just dwells a little too much on the silly for me to like take a lot of the rest of it seriously. And to me, it's distracting. It's a movie that I think has its heart in the right place, but ultimately just doesn't. It doesn't hit me in the way that it hits everybody else, which is probably a me problem, and I get that.
I'm sorry, you don't have generational drama like most of us do.
Thank God, right?
Yes. You lucky son of a bitch.
Well, anyway, it's for whatever reason though, but I'm still happy about its wins. I think it's largely deserved, despite my own reservations about it. So yeah, pretty good Oscars. I enjoyed my time with them, and yeah, bodes well for the future.
Yep. And congratulations to the cast of Encino Man, -1 Pauly Shore.
Yeah, where is Pauly Shore right now? Of course, yes, there's a whole another can of worms to get into about whether or not the depiction of Brendan Fraser's character in The Whale should be being awarded.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions there. Our use of visual effects technology to simulate something, that's such a real issue for a lot of people. There's a lot of conversation there. We do not have time to get into it. But otherwise, congratulations to Brendan Fraser, because he definitely deserves it. Not necessarily maybe for this movie, but as a career award, I think this was earned. I think that he's definitely proven that he's an important actor, and hopefully we'll get more gigs from here on out.
And big congratulations to Michelle Yeoh for winning Best Actress.
Yes, I may not have picked her, but yeah, it was another career capping kind of award for her.
And I think all 4 awards are first time winners too.
I believe so.
For acting.
Correct. Yes. So congratulations to everybody for their Oscar wins.
Yep. And congratulations to Black Panther for once again winning production design.
Yes. Yep. Always.
Was that production design or was that a costume?
Costumes.
Sorry. All quiet on the front was production design.
Correct. Yes. All right. Let's move on out of the Oscars and into the Writers Guild of America, but not awards this time.
No. Speaking of things that were 15 years ago.
Yes. Members have voted overwhelmingly to approve a pattern of demands for the Guild's upcoming film and TV contract negotiations, which are set to begin March 20th.
That's Monday.
Yes.
Or this upcoming Monday as of this recording.
The WGA's current contract with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers expires May 1st, amid growing concerns about another possible writers' strike. The latest vote is also in line with the balloting for the demands that ultimately led to the WGA's 100-day strike back in 2007 to 2008, when 96% of the members voted to approve them.
I think now it's 98% as of the latest voting.
So here's the pattern of demands broken down into 3 categories. They want increased compensation and residuals, increased contributions to pension plans and their health fund, and to regulate professional standards and protection in the employment of writers in their contracts.
Now, those are the 3 main points. They're all broken down.
Right.
You can find this on Variety, of each point broken down into 5 separate points. But those are the 3 main sticking points that they are fighting for right now. And once again, just like with the SNL strike, we see increased contribution to pension and health fund.
Yes, healthcare, big deal.
Yes.
People want their healthcare, and writers should get it too. So, like what happened in 2007, 2008, a strike is possible here if the negotiations go south. Mm-hmm. If they will not, if the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers do not comply with these, with this statement pattern of demands, then there is a possibility that we will have a strike. And a writer's strike does does a lot of damage to programming for television, especially. We saw how it affected the 2008 television season.
Yes. If you want to see it affect a very specific show, go look at the retrospective of Heroes when it was at its height in 2006, 2007. And because of the writer's strike, immediately fell off the face of the earth.
Or if you want to have some fun, go on YouTube and look up clips of all the late night shows in the during the writer's strike, and how they basically had to improv everything because they couldn't do anything that the writers had written.
There was a lot of cold opens where they're asking people from the audience,
hey, give us some content. Yeah, weird time in pop culture. And so the fact that we might be looking at another one of those is fascinating.
Which is also fascinating because it's also yet another time when television is at its height yet again.
Yeah.
Which, when you're at your height, you should be paid at your height.
You'd think.
Just looking at NFL contracts and how bloated they are right now. Well, they might not be better than the people who were getting there, but the gradual steps that it took to get here.
So we'll see if that happens. We'll, of course, update you with an updated story if and when, depending whether that happens. So watch this space. But
well,
in the meantime,
they have until May 1st.
Right. So it's going to be potentially a while until we find out.
We got 6 weeks. We got all through April. May 1st is a Monday.
Okay. Well, the countdown begins.
Yep. 6 weeks of negotiation starts now.
All right.
Or starts Monday.
All right. In the meantime, though, that'll do it for movie news. Did we watch any movies this week? Beyond, I guess, watching Everything Everywhere?
No, but if you want to watch the best documentary for Navalny, it is available on HBO Max.
All right. There you go. All right. Well, that will do it then. Thank you for tuning in to the Media Boat Podcast. No fan question this week, but if you would like to ask us questions, you can email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. Whether you have questions about our show, feedback about our show, things you want to ask us as people, I don't know, anything, email us there and we will answer it on the show.
If you think we got anything wrong in our Taylor tourney,
hey, let us know. Let us hear it. And then in the meantime, there's all sorts of ways you can engage with us on the internet. If you want to watch this show live or in any video form, you can go to YouTube, search for our channel by searching Media Boat Podcast, and you'll find it. Like, comment, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. If you'd like to listen to it old school on a podcast feed, well, we got you there too. Search Media Boat Podcast on any podcast service that you subscribe to, whether it be Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Amazon, wherever. Search Media Boat Podcast. That's also where you can find the aforementioned Taylor Tourney as we continue into the eras of Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. You can also catch us on social media. On Twitter, we're at MediaBoatCast. Facebook, search Media Boat Podcast on there and find our page. Twitch, look forward to some streaming. You're going to be streaming Chia on Tuesday on Twitch or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when it actually comes out.
That's on twitch.tv/MediaBo. Also look forward to maybe on Friday some Resident Evil 4. So check that out then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might come out on Friday, but when it comes out, when she comes out, I will stream it.
Yeah, same thing for Resident Evil. As soon as we get a copy of it, we'll try to put it on there. And then, tune in next week, of course, for another show just like this.
Yep, we'll have more news, more thoughts, wrap up of some shows. Might even listen to that Lana Del Rey album.
Maybe I'll go to the tunnel under Ocean. No, I'm not going to go to the tunnel under Ocean Boulevard. All right, see you guys next time.
Yep, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, save it, cut it, edit it. Ireland.
Ireland.